What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 17 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Orion Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, we encountered the first of the ritual armies belonging to the ogres, and it was a pretty solid stack. I'm very happy with it, and I'm hoping that the other stacks that have spawned here and here somewhere are gonna be of a similar caliber. I do believe that once we've defeated both of those, we'll just have to wait out the clock on the ritual, and we'll have our first ritual completed, and are well underway to heading towards the next, I believe, two. We've got Athel Loren up at 68, and the guy in Vale up at 60. And to be perfectly frank, the Oak of Ages is at 387 as well, so we're starting to approach the end game, the latter portion of the campaign. Complete all the rituals and finish it up with the final battle and the Ritual of Rebirth at the Oak of Ages. Anyway, in terms of what we gotta do this time, I think we completed pretty much the entire turn at the end of last episode, with the exception of this. Aka still has to attack one of these armies. Now, they're both full stacks, and I noticed that neither one of them has... Neither one of them is a minor settlement, so it'll be a field battle either way, which is perfectly fine. I guess we just pick one and attack. I suppose we'll go for this one. It also does depend on what King Nishkopra does, but I suppose it doesn't really matter. Let's go for this one. It is, after all, a Heathland, and that's what we want to focus on. Now, there will be 2 units of Ushabti with Great Bow and 4 Screaming Skull Catapults to deal with, plus just an absolutely massive amount of skeleton chariots and horses. Most of that stuff shouldn't be of any kind of threat to the eagles, though, and it'll be the eagles that do a lot of the damage. Frankly, it might actually... Considering how much we're using eagles, you know what? We're gonna switch briefly to Wisdom of the Eagle Lord. It's gonna cost us 5,000 gold. We're using these guys enough that we do want to use them. Still really love those Heralds of Talsyn, but anyway, this doesn't unlock the recruitment, does it? No, it doesn't look like it. Alright, time to hit the plane of spiders. Go. Alright, went the wrong way there for a second. Anyway, here we go. Aka with his fairly diverse army, at least for now. Obviously, we'll be changing it out, but we'll see how it performs in its current state. We've separated our forces in a number of ways. Our eagles are going to head directly for the enemy. 4 units of Screaming Skull Catapults and 2 units, I believe, of Ushabti with Great Bow, all of which need to be brought down ASAP. Aka will lead his sort of Death Star of the 2 malevolent ancient or malevolent treemen and the 2 units of Treekin as well. These guys obviously going to be far too tough for the enemy to do anything about, or at least not easily. Out here, we've Vanguard deployed our Deepwood Scouts with the 2 units of Dryads Vanguard deployed to guard them, while the War Lions that we've got from the High Elves as well as the Blade Singers will rush towards any enemy cav over there in the hopes of obliterating them. And ooh! War Lions with the green sort of wood elven color scheme. I think I actually like them better this way. Well, they look really nice, and I'm glad to have them. We'll see how well they can go with the Blade Singers, and because the Blade Singers have the underside of their cloaks being white, and some of their helms have some, well, this is not really white, but, well, the cloaks are. They match the lines, is what I'm getting at. Anyway, let's start the actual battle. The Eagles will touch down. The Eagles have landed, I should have said, and the 4 Screaming Skull Catapults will probably rather quickly grow silent. I guess technically speaking, the skeletons manning them are probably silent anyway, though the Screaming Skulls are actually screaming in pain and anguish, so yeah, them not so much. Anyway, the Eagles will make quick work of them and then move on to the Ushabti with Great Bow, one of which is already being targeted by the 5th unit of Eagles. There are, after all, 4 units of Screaming Skull Catapults and 5 Eagle units, so they can take care of them. The moving a little grove here, the Death Star of Treemen, surrounded by enemies, but they're going to to have a very difficult time doing anything to that, even if they are surrounded. Out here, the war lines have smashed into the back of the enemy Nehekaran horsemen and are going to rip them apart while they're trapped against the anvil of the Dryads. Dryads generally too fragile to make for a great anvil, but they'll work for the relatively fragile skeletal horsemen. Out here, the other skeletal horsemen and the chariots are being absolutely obliterated by the blade singers, with a little bit of help from the Glade Guard, though we do have to watch out for them hurting our own units as well. One unfortunate thing about using the blade singers against the enemy cavalry is the fact that that they don't show their awesome animations, because those are infantry versus infantry animations. Not a big deal. I'm sure they'll find some infantry later on, and they're mincing their way through this cav unit with a very, very rapid pace. And there we go, their pet lions moving in as well. And man, the fact that they match them really makes me think that maybe we should keep some blade singers in this army. Gotta keep the color scheme together, and they work nicely together as well. One sunders armor, or actually no, they don't sunder armor, that's the other war dancers. They have the Searing Flame. Weakness to fire damage. Wonder if we can make some... Might be able to take advantage of that if we use a Banner of Eternal Flame on Akka's little grove here, his war grove, I should say. And then they'd be doing fire damage, and we could provide weakness via the Searing Flame. Wouldn't quite be a complete fire army, and it's difficult to get a fire army for the Wood Elves, considering they only have one unit that actually does fire damage, that unit being the Starfire Shafts. And no others, but nonetheless, the Banner of Eternal Flame with the Death Star can certainly do something. Anyway, the two units of enemy Ushabti with Great Bow have been obliterated by the Eagles, who have now turned to the enemy Skeletal Archers, who will fall just as quickly. For those of you that watch the Imra campaign, this is a sight you're probably very, very familiar with. Arathon the Silver and Talon, absolute legend that he is probably smiling somewhere, watching more Eagles obliterate everything that they faced off against. And hey, there we go, at last some infantry for the Blade Singers to fight, and it's a pile of Tomb Guard here. See some of those nice anti-infantry animations. Or am I thinking of the War Dancers? Let's see what they do. Or do they just swing away with their swords and... okay, I thought one of them got brought down, but apparently not. I think maybe I'm thinking of the War Dancers, the ones that do the leaping animation, where they sort of leap on top of the enemy and then slice their throat. These guys definitely do have a leaping animation as well, but it's not the same kind. More like just sort of acrobatics. But anyway, they're doing quite well, especially with a little bit of backup from the Dryads. Akka and the Treekin and the Treemen are completely fine, as we can see. Their HP is basically full here. I think they might have killed the enemy Lord in here somewhere as well, or no? No, they killed something else, maybe a Tomb Prince or something. They killed something. Well, frankly, they probably killed a lot of things. And of course, we have been keeping up the Shield of Thorns on them. So while they're surrounded, they're taking effectively no damage and doing damage back and reflecting it against the enemy. The enemy's cavalry have all at this point been pretty much crushed by our fast movers between the Blade Singers, the Lions, and the Eagles. And the enemy is rapidly starting to run out of units. They do, however, suffer enough damage to summon some Ushabti, the regular kind, and those Ushabti summoned on top of the Deepwood Scouts and the Glade Guard, meaning the latter have taken a decent bit of damage. We're going to have to charge them in the back with our War Lines. Not a great matchup, War Lines against Ushabti, but hopefully good enough to allow the very fragile Glade Guard to back off. And by the looks of it, it might not even be needed as the Ushabti begin melting away. And a few Eagles move in to knock them down. And with the help of the Eagles, the Ushabti will drop all that much faster. The other Eagles still helping Akka, not that he and the Treekin really needed it, as the enemy were just not doing enough to bring him down. Still love the watching the Malevolent Treekin together with, or Malevolent Treemen, rather, with the Treekin. Although I'm still thinking we might put these into Draika's army. I'll think about it. I do like them here, but we could also replace them with regular Treemen rather than the Malevolent variant, should we desire to do so. Especially considering we do have to get the regular or the Malevolent Dryads to Draika. Anyway, it looks like the last of the poor Tomb Kings will melt away, and Akka gives us a very nice victory, suffering fairly little damage all told, and yes, that's why, and giving us a heroic victory to that pretty nice battle. And while we didn't do the sort of battle lines thing that I usually do to get, you know, easier cinematic shots so that we could watch the action, it was still a really fun fight, and we still got to see everybody do their thing, because, well, the Tomb Kings survived long enough to allow us to see. Ooh, another Talisman of Preservation, very, very nice. I think Akka has certainly earned that, getting himself a heroic victory, and considering he is a legend, being one of our community canon lords, I'm pretty happy that he did get to that as well, and proved himself fairly quickly. Looks like the Blade Singers outdid everything else in this army. Oh my. 32k damage on those Great Forest Eagles, despite the fact that we don't have upgrades for them, or redline buffs for them, or attacks for them, or veterancy. And never underestimate the Eagles, especially against a weaker sort of unarmored units that don't have a lot of anti-large. These guys certainly cleaned house. But of course, so did the Blade Singers as well. I think it's a little bit more impressive with the Eagles because they're a fraction of the cost of the Blade Singers, built to recruit and because of their... not capacity, well, partially capacity, but their tier, how difficult it is to acquire them. Nice work by our war lines as well, 17 and 15k, and we'll be getting more of them in this army because Akka deserves a bunch of beasts. Maybe keep the Blade Singers in here? I'm not entirely sure yet. But I'm kind of liking it. Anyway, Talisman of Preservation, yeah, sure, it's fine. And we will occupy the Heathland. Lovely. Splitting Mr. Katep's territory in half. He only has these locations. Oh, I'm kind of impressed that Grombrindle is still alive, though. But anyway, seasoned campaigner for Akka. He darn well does deserve it. You also got rank 10, but I don't remember whether you get anything interesting out of it. Oh, we do have to eventually reset him because he has Eye of Kurnus for some reason, and he most definitely shouldn't. Well, for now, we'll get him Dark Spirit for that enemy leadership reduction, which is quite useful against the Tomb Kings. The speed for the Elven units in the Rain of Spines, probably not going to be useful for his army. Maybe speed for the Blade Singers if we keep them, but as we don't know at the current time, we'll wait. We will, however, get Skin of the Woods for the Treekin, and... okay, so there's nothing that actually buffs tree men, is there? Or at least not... Yeah, armor-piercing weapon damage for Treekin and Grove Guardians. Armor-piercing weapon damage for Dryads, Treekin and Grove Guardians, nothing for Tree Men, unfortunately, but it's all good. It's all good. They're already so strong and so difficult to kill that it's just fine as it is. Anyway, I do believe that's the end of the turn, or at the very least, I don't believe that there's anything else to do this turn. Spellsinger, just in case we get attacked, though, let's get you a spell. We should probably move towards Occam's Mind Razor. It should be a fairly good spell in this particular army, since we're doing sort of a half Death Star sort of formation, as Akka with his Treeman will be a Death Star, and then we'll have the immobile beasts running around, nipping at the heels of the enemies, and taking them down by flanking them. Anyway, skip, and turn. And of course, since Akka the Wanderer is one of our community canon lords, we also should keep an eye on what he's doing in this particular campaign, as if he does anything interesting or anything particular, we can add that to his particular lore. You want us to declare war on Goldtooth? We're not going to do so right now, though I think it is inevitable that he will eventually attack us, so we do have to keep an eye on it. Oh, I also gotta remember to try to send a hero down south to the eastern colonies, as that is another potential trading partner, and I don't think I've ever seen them lose their territory to another AI, so they're probably doing just fine down there. Alright, faction destroyed, Saberskin, that's fine. Confederation, Ursan Revivalists, and Great Orthodoxy. Okay. Ally mission aborted, Nagaroth. Ally begins outpost construction. Settlement infected, Elysia. With a Skaven plague. I don't think we care, or at least right now we don't care. Alright, Orion did... Okay, looks like LAKOR did not in fact go for you, unfortunately. I guess we're gonna have to go after LAKOR. It's looking like he's gonna try to land and go here, but just in case he doesn't, what we'll do is go right here. Into the Southern Sea of Chaos, and we'll see where Throt goes. He's gonna probably try to run from us, and we'll see where LAKOR goes. Maybe we can still chase one down. Kinda getting a little bit off track with Orion, but you know what? He's out here, he's racking up the kills and the XP for his army. All of this time just to get Nakari's trait, to be perfectly honest, was worth it. Anyway, ready for duty, technology research, so more eagle power, and I do appreciate that, eagle power. Back to wide-reaching routes. And we still need mages. I also feel like it has been a couple of turns since I've checked the lords. Feyfire Guard, Sylvan Subtlety again. Thorn Majesty, Vigor Loss. Alright, nothing new. And certainly nothing... Huh. Actually, that's interesting. Wisdom of the Wildwood. Physical resistance plus 25% during force battles for the entire army. That's actually very nice. And the reason that that's very nice, if there's any other ones of the same variant. Seven Sorcerer Supreme, Wild Heart Wanderer. Another Warden of the Weald, which is nice. Spiritwood Sage is also pretty solid, but yeah, no, it's you. Wisdom of the Wildwood. We'll keep an eye on you. The reason that I was going to say is we gotta defend the Shrine of Cain here, as it is an outpost, and I'm pretty sure all outposts should count as forest battles, therefore it'll make for a nice defensive army. If we have to get defensive armies, they should all have that particular trait, by the looks of it. Anyway, what were we doing? Oh, right, I forgot to say, between the episodes I fought the battle at Ekrund, because we couldn't auto-resolve it, but it was going to be one of those boring battles where we didn't have to do anything. As we can see, we really took no damage whatsoever, basically. And this despite the fact that we're not healing here. And basically, we just fired over, or I just fired over the walls until everybody was dead inside. Tactically, not super interesting, but necessary. Anyway, Glade Guard, you're out, and Loren, you're going to hit the Dragonhorn mines, while Sistashal joins you for a time. And by a time, I mean permanently. I mean, permanently is a time. Just like 0's a percent. Anyway, can you auto-resolve this? Yes, you can. Is there anybody around that can hurt you if you do auto-resolve it? There's the ogres down here. I guess it does depend on whether we want to go out here to deal with Valea's Sorrow, or, well, I suppose we could send Daith over here as well. We don't necessarily have to have you do it. I'll think about it. Either way, it doesn't have to necessarily be this turn. Auto-resolve this because I don't feel like it. At the very least, because this army is kind of set. Oh, it's going to do a lot of damage, isn't it, though? You know what? Manually fight it super quick. Oh, damn, I should have redone the war banner. The loss of the mount, obviously, is what did it, but anyway, we'll just max speed through this. Of course, the enemy will be deployed as far away from us as possible, but it should be easier than it was before because we now have more Way Watchers, and no Glade Guard, which couldn't fire in every direction like these guys can. Alright, just super quick max speed, and at least this way we won't have to worry about not having a lot of heals. Alright, come on now. A little teensy bit quicker. Start deployment, and let us deploy... Let's deploy right here. I usually go here, but let's do here because maybe we can fire over the wall as well. Alright, out front will be a U3... Well, you know what, let's do 2x2. Because we have to kind of move up here, so let's do this, this, and then these guys. Like so. Frankly, the way they face doesn't really matter over much. Do this, this, and then U3 in the center of all this, and U2. A little bit annoying that they lack Mangor deployment, all good. Alright, start skirmish, and I would actually like you all to turn off your skirmish mode. Every single one of you. Alright, yeah, the enemy did indeed deploy up there. Alright, you two head up here. Let's slowly start moving into the enemy settlement. Like so, and like so. And once the enemies actually start moving towards us, we'll just sort of separate our units and do our thing. Anyway, okay, I don't really care how you move, to be honest. Let's get a Dragon Breath going. Should probably fire away those arrows of Ruinous at... Well, I can do the Orc War Boss. Man, I always forget whether the... Yeah, looks like the Forest Dragon Breath is better on multiple enemies. What do we got here? Orc Biggins, let's do you. And we'll fire the arrow of Ruinous afterwards as well. Alrighty, and I just want to do this. This is our first Forest Dragon Breath after all, so I want to see it in action in slow motion. There we go. Not quite as noxious as the Black Dragon Breath, perhaps, but still looking pretty noxious, and damage-wise, about halved the HP on that particular unit. Not too bad, I'd say. Anyway, fire that arrow of Ruinous at the enemy lord, and I guess both of you two can turn off melee and just fire away at the enemy lord. Alrighty, then, you guys start moving this way. Move this way, you guys move this way. Trolls might be moving in, we might have to deal with them. Alright, go here. Oh, we might actually get surrounded. Let's move you in, and let's get ready to pop those Praise of Anathrema. Pop the... Yeah, you know what? You guys stay here and fire at whatever you can reach, actually. And you are going to move here, and do this. Alright, stop that unit in its tracks, and you can back off a little bit. You can then summon a unit of Deepwood Scouts just to get in the enemy's way. Turn off your skirmish mode, don't bother skirmishing. Our Lord can also move on in. I think we might actually need to use the dragon. Ah, but look at that, all of these units of trolls. Let's Pray of Anathrema them while they get obliterated. There we go, can't move, and they will go down rather quickly. Lovely. And they're all pretty much dead. Alrighty, how else, or how are we doing otherwise? Yeah, you go forward. Let's start moving the rest of our units forward. You guys up here. Alright, I wanted to max speed this, but clearly we have to control this at least a little bit, or we are still, well, maybe if not likely to take a lot of losses, there is potential for losses. Still not such a great thing. Alrighty, and we don't need to use Shield of Thorns. Everybody else keep covering above. Let's keep dropping those arrows of Ruinous on the enemy lord, who should be sniped shortly. I think that tree actually blocked one of the shots. Get another Prey of Anathrema going on these Savage Orc Boar Boys. And while we're at it, let's fire away some Hail of Doom arrows at them as well. And again. And again. And how are we doing here? Breath on the trolls. I don't know how effective it's going to be, but I suppose it doesn't matter how it's going to miss mostly. But I suppose that doesn't matter over much either. Alright, trolls are out. Now I think we're free to speed up. Oh! They actually managed to charge in. Not for long, but they did. I should have probably just told all of our units to focus them down. Alright, a few more seconds of firing. Let's move forward. Huh. I guess having a little bit of a tough time firing on those Savage Orcs, but since this is a summoned unit, we don't care. Also, if you're wondering how we're summoning a unit, we got an item from the Sisters of Twilight, I believe, that does allow us to summon a single unit of the Deepwood Scouts, which is very nice for an army that needs units to potentially block enemies off. And now that we have the Spellsinger of Beasts in this particular army, should we need to, we can also summon eagles to throw at the enemy, block them, and allow our units to do more damage. Obviously not that it was super necessary on this particular situation. Alright, and we'll raise the place just like the other places, for a decent amount of cash as well. Stop moving. And, ow, that took all of your... Yeah, that took all of your movement. Alright, maybe I should have let you move. Alright, Pigeon Plucker Pendant. You, I don't think, need this. We'll give you something else, I'm sure. Young Stag, you can keep that. I don't care about the Hunting Hound. Headsman is fine, and we're good. Alrighty, and then I guess we'll have to decide whether we head for Valea's Sorrow or whether we head down to Granty Mingle Town, but that'll be later. Deluric. You too. So we've taken the Altar of the Crimson Harvest. Ooh. Epidemius. Epidemius? I weave the living forest. I'm pretty sure they can't intercept you. Huh. Well, you know what? Let's go move to help Dietershofen, I guess. I really don't know whether... I'm just going to assume that they can't. I mean, I guess if this army gets intercepted and dies, we don't really care. Oh, actually we do care because this is Ellen Delling now. I swapped their units. No, it looks like they can't intercept. I swapped their units so that the HP could be good because one of them wasn't in range. Anyway, we'll see what Epidemius does about this. We also transferred Dietershofen to the Empire. Oh, it looks like there's going to be a rebellion here because they have a lot of provinces with low control, plus collected income and imperial authority is low. Actually, kind of surprising that imperial authority is as low as it is. They do own some empire territory. It's not that bad. Well, anyway, not important right now, minus potential of them losing territory. And what do we have here? Smash Gooder. That's a fantastic name. Smash Gooder. I love it. I most definitely love it. Anyway, these guys, there's probably another stack, or no, probably about it. We know there's another stack here somewhere. We don't want to get attacked by both of them at the same time. I think what we'll do is we'll pop Durthu right here. Actually, wait, can we pop him here in our own territory so he can heal to full? We can still allow the enemy to close the distance a little bit, and then hit them as they're closer. Plus, if we need to retreat to the Haunted Forest if the armies are too close together, then we can do that. I think it's the smarter way to do it because they have a lot of elites. Datan, you, my friend, are now on the hunt for Morgur, who once again appears to have defeated the... has defeated the Carcassonne.
There is darkness in you. Short-sighted, certainly not. Unwise. I will not bow to man.
Interesting. For some reason, you can't jump further than the game says, but other ones can. Well, either way. Either way. Yeah, you've defeated the Carcassonne army Morgurs. We're gonna have to hunt you down. Should be a pretty interesting battle. He's high level. He's got a stack strong enough to take on Skavenblight. So I'm kind of curious as to what exactly is in said stack. We shall see shortly. Dave, you've taken down Crookback Mountain. I feel like we should either destroy you know what, yeah, let's destroy Caracade Peaks and Valasaur. We'll go back for the rats after. We can't catch Charge Lock here, but I suppose it doesn't matter over much. Let's jump out, I don't know, here. Yeah, see, this guy, Dave, can move further than the map says, and now I have to remember which armies can and which armies can't, I guess. Anyway, Azerit, you are going to send this army... I actually got 3 turns into the hunt while the hunt still slumbers, so... Alright. Akka, you're probably gonna have to fight again. You're gonna hit Khymerica Spire and deoccupy it as well. We have some ogres around, but I suppose it doesn't matter over much. Alright, we'll do this. Pyrrhic Victory again, but we'll see about that. This is Akka we're talking about, of course. Or after all. Azerit, at least for now... Ooh. We do have these guys coming in. Maybe we should have you guard the guard Hag Hall and Ice Rock Gorge, at least for now. Alright, go into ambush stance right outside of Hag Hall.
Starting out.
You are going to temporarily transfer these troops to the Sisters of Twilight to actually, or transfer them back, I guess, to allow them to not quite act as a full army, but still, you know, sort of be able to act, and then move back to the Witchwood in preparation for ferrying troops over. We have 3 turns until we can start jumping around via the Wild Hunt again. Sisters of Twilight, you are going to go this way and get on the approach to the other enemies. Hopefully Mag Roastchewer doesn't attack you, but I suppose if he does, it won't matter over much. Oh wow, you have minus 13% construction cost reduction. Oh wait, that's because we gave them the refined Dreaming Bow. I gotta remember to swap that around as needed. Reduce that construction. Anyway, Iskura with the War Dancers. Oh, Marcus, he didn't know where to go. He was right here. He couldn't go this way because Tehenoen, and he couldn't go this way because Iskura. He just sort of backed up into the wall. Oh, that's sad. It's sad and adorable. It's what my cat does when he's scared. But anyway, now I feel bad for killing Marcus. Sorry, Marcus, but you gotta do what you gotta do, buddy. Die. Alright, and I fear that, I know that this is Marcus, but his army is kind of pathetic, let's face it. So we're just going to auto-resolve this. It's a significantly weaker army than the previous Imperial army we fought. Oh. I wonder if it'll hurt our eagles, though, because they're damaged. Granted, they're temporary in this army, but... We'll heal up as we move. And let's see what we got. Yeah, we lost a few eagles, but I'm not surprised. Alright, we will go to release captives, take the money, we're certainly gonna need it. And we'll get to the Marcus defeat trait, which is great, but useless for this army. Young Stag, yeah sure, keep that hunted down. Missile strength, range. Almost all of our armies could use this in some capacity, but even our lord doesn't have a range capability in this army. But oh well. Go into encamp stance and stay right here. Gonna jump over, back to Shodel, back to the Sacred Pools, and then back to Chakwa. We really need to take the... I need to take these locations so that this particular tree actually starts growing, so we can pop the ritual. And if we can, we'll send somebody back down here to, well, hopefully kill off Marcus and get that defeat trait, whoever needs it most. Anyway, Nagaroth. Smash Gooder is an option, so we'll take Smash Gooder. I don't really care about the Cult of Sigmar. Knights of Kalador and Itza, I very much do, though. Smash Gooder again. Smash Gooder again. I guess these guys are also Smash Gooder. Yeah, take it. Take it, why not? Alright, these guys want us to smash Gooder. Makes sense to me. Anyway, let's see who else needs to move. Iskura, Zaltothios, you're fine where you are. We'll see what Epidemius does. As I recall, Epidemius also has a very nice trait because it offers immunity to contact effects, which is very nasty on certain lords, or at the very least very useful. Alright, Recruiter Shaw Muscle, Trelon, I don't remember who you are. Oh, you're just sitting and growing the jungles of Qian? I guess that's fine. Just don't get corrupted by Zinch. I guess you're just gonna stick around here until this is dealt with. Strasleith, you're waiting to get replaced by Draika. Zaltothios, I'd love to replace you with this Protector, which is a much better trait than your basically non-existent trait, but alas, while we're at 8 out of 7, there's no reason to do so. Just go to... We could start moving you southward, but we could also just send you to Griffinwood. I'd send you somewhere to leech XP. Anyway, Strathot. You're supposed to join Daith, and we'll join him here. Daith, you are going to move... or combine, I guess, these 2 units. Or these 3 units. So? Oh, alright, fine, like so. And then you, goodbye. Alright, and Strathot into the army, please. Lovely. And now this army actually has a caster. It's been dealing without one for a while, and well, you don't have Shield of Thorns yet, but when you do have Shield of Thorns, it'll be very, very, very useful. Anyway, that was Akas, Strasleith, and... I mean, we could still try to move Strasleith without Draika, but I'm kind of wary, because Strasleith is obviously not going to buff those Dryads nearly as much as Draika does, and we have no way to get those Malevolent Dryads back, especially the Forest or the Bow ones, if they're lost. So perhaps it's better not to risk it. We should keep an eye out on new Dryads, though. Or Branch Wraiths, which are Dryads, but anyway, so that we could get more. Tech Thieves, 'tis your time to shine. Let's try not to fail this time. 6% and 6% at the moot as well. That's a bit of a shame. But you failed repeatedly. Well, try it here. And then you are, what, at Grenstad? Oh, 5%, a little bit better. Oh, what the heck happened here? Oh no. She turned into an Eldritch Abomination. Success and failure, so 1-1, I guess. Alright, and I believe that's it. Alright, so we got buildings, we got Diplo. Karak-Azul, trade agreements, none by the looks of it. Dune Kingdoms, Kashwatla, Ivres wants a military alliance. Sure, Ivres, we'll take it. More allegiance, more high elven units, as there are a bunch that we want. In fact, I'd like to check whether we can build another set of war lines for ourselves. And by ourselves, I mean Mr. Aka over there. Ara. Take a look at Ivres. 22. Another war line. Beautiful. Alright, that's 4 war lines for Aka. He's gonna be happy. Building, and then we can fight and then go next turn. Haunted Forest. Let us go for the Craftsman's or the Sculptor's Cabin. More growth for all provinces. Nice. Kingsglade, nothing to build here. Vidriath, nothing to build there. Lorelorn Forest can be upgraded to tier 4, but for now I think we'll wait. Griffinwood is the same, and we want to start on the Craftsman's Tree there. And a red desert can actually build something. Plane of spiders, I'd love to build this. You know what? Ooh. I do like the campaign movement range that it offers, but in 3 turns we'll probably be out of this place. So just go for the foraging groves for the additional growth, so that we can help Witchwood out a teensy bit. Though our growth isn't so bad anymore. 265. I remember when all of our trees had a growth of like 50 or something at the start of our campaign. Anyway, Akka, it's time to fight again. I guess it's your day, and thus, being a legend as you are, let's give you some items. Talisman of Preservation, just like the other legends, Durthu and the Sisters of Twilight. Giant Blade for you. I mean, I should probably give the talisman to Droika, but not right now. You have a Charmed Shield. Any good armor for you? Trickster's Helm is on the Sisters. You got the Scroll of Stone, the Potion of Healing. Yeah, it's just armor that you need. Well, looks like Armor Fortune then. Lovely. Could use a few more Armors of Fortune, and you know what? You can have a Forbidden Rod rather than the Scroll of Stone. I do think that the Scroll of Stone is useful on you, or at least in your army, because you have that... you have that Death Star, therefore will... Ooh, Brass Cleaver. Probably better in Durthu's army, but it could work here as well. Anyway, where's that Scroll of Stone? I'm gonna distribute... Oh. I was about to say distribute the Swords of Strife, but we kind of already have. Alright, Scroll of Stone to you, and we'll keep the other 2 probably for Durthu's army. Alright, fighting time once more, go. Alrighty, here we go, round 2 for Akka, though I would wager that this battle should be a little bit easier than the first one with him was, namely because this one has the bigger portion of the enemy army outside of the settlement and thus coming in as a reinforcement. This means that the lesser garrison will be mobbed and destroyed most likely before the main enemy army arrives. As usual, the Great Forest Eagles, or just Forest Eagles, whatever. No, it is Great Forest Eagles. Come on, Ruinous. Trust yourself. Anyway, we'll start the battle off, once again landing on those Screaming Skull Catapults. The enemy, unfortunately, has neither enough constructs or enough range to prevent the Eagles from doing this. Perhaps if they had Spokal Stalkers or a Necrosphinx or something along those lines, they would be able to deal with this, but at the current time, they cannot. While the Eagles distract them, the Blade Singers start their way in. They are very quick-moving units, not as quick, perhaps, as the War Dancers, I want to say, with spears with their fast run active, but still fast enough to get into combat long before the Treemen and Tree can arrive. That said, slowly but surely, Akka leads his Wargrove into the fray to join the Eagles, and both the Eagles and the Treekin and possibly the Blade Singers can now benefit from the from a nice blobby. Here it is. No? Okay, well, it'll happen eventually. A nice blobby Shield of Thorns. I wanted everybody targeted by the Shield of Thorns, basically, is what I was getting at. Anyway, nice combination of units here. Once again, the bleed from the Eagles combining with the Searing Flame, and both bleed and Searing Flame do damage over time as well, which is now making me think. I wonder if we have a... I'm thinking of other units that have toxins and various damage over time applications. The only one I can currently think of is the Sisters of the Thorn, because they have toxic venom, which also applies damage over time. There is also Lethal Poison, but Lethal Poison I think is only on, I want to say, a Regiment of Renown, and we can get Lethal Poison on trees. Akka has it, for example. Huh. So currently we have everything but Toxic Venom in this particular army. Does that warrant putting Sisters of the Thorn in here? Man, do we have room for Sisters of the Thorn in this army? We'd probably have to trade them for something, and I'm not sure what that would be. I still do want 4 War Lions, because Akka deserves to have a bunch of beasts. We probably want to keep 4 Eagles as well. I suppose we could move it down to 2, but then... I don't know. They are beasts as well, that's the thing. And it works with Akka's theme. Anyway, looks like the main enemy army, the reinforcements have arrived. The first army has pretty much been destroyed, though a few LAKOR horsemen and Tomb Guard do remain. The Eagles will move towards the enemy Spokal Stalkers. Certainly don't want them firing too many of those shotgun blasts off. And though the Spokal Stalkers are anti-large units, they are still reasonably fragile, and I do imagine that the Eagles, especially in the numbers that we have them here, should be able to take them out without too much trouble. I did a little bit of a mistake here, forcing the Eagles to land and hit the Spokal Stalkers from the same direction, but we will get at least one or two of the Eagle units to hit them from the back and the flanks as well. Could have dropped down on them from up above as well. Anyway, Akka uses his active ability to stop the big blob of Tomb Kings here in their tracks, and then while they're blobbed up, we will drop an Assault of Stone from our scroll right upon them. And there we go, gonna drop a few of those Tomb Guard and the Skeletal Horsemen or LAKOR Horsemen or whatever. And of course the enemy will continue firing their Spokal shotguns. But we should have enough healing and enough missile resistance due to that Shield of Thorns to be able to resist all of that. Anyway, first of the enemy units of Spokal Stalkers is done for. We were also trying to go after the enemy range units with our war lines, but unfortunately the enemy Lord, the enemy Tomb King, moved in to try to prevent such. However, that's not a great idea, as Eagles are fantastic at assassinating single entities like this, and will mob this Lord and probably kill said Lord fairly quickly. As we can see, he's already at about half HP. In fact, he's already dropped below it. Ah, look at those Eagles work. The Arathon method once again proves itself very, very effective. Anyway, Eagles will now turn to those poor units of archers who are now relatively unguarded, and the war lines can join them and help out. Akka and his Wargrove still in the middle of the fray, holding back the biggest blob of enemy units, while the Dryads have moved away from their previous protection detail of guarding the range units, now that there aren't really enough enemy cav to threaten them, and have joined the Wargrove in the middle of the fray as well. Akka will activate another Befuddlement of Mischiefs. Not that I expect a lot of these units to get away, but it's better to keep the enemy Skeletal Chariots and Spokal Stalkers locked in place, where once again they can't even try to target our range units. Alright, and out here the Blade Singers are fighting on their own. I was about to say unsupported, but do they really need support? They are very hard to deal with, and they do an absolutely massive amount of damage, especially if we can keep healing them and giving them Shield of Thorns and all that sort of stuff. Alright, that Spokal Stalker moves right into the center of the screen, but gets obliterated by one of the units of Blade Singers, who just keep bringing down units all around them. Alright, and here come the Eagles joining the fray, though they are hardly needed, as by the looks of it, with the activation of the enemy's third tier of Realm of Souls, their army has already shattered. So the healing is in, but too little, too late. It's not going to help you hold. And there we go, one last charge for the war lines, now that there are no more range units or cavalry to take care of running around, and with that, the battle will be ours. Alright, something still... okay, there we go. Something was still holding on in the center of it, and another heroic victory. Beautiful. Alright, there we go, and ooh, we actually got a Lichbone Pennant. I've been wanting one of these since the start of the campaign, and it only took, what, 55 turns to finally get it, and of course, the legend that Akka is the one that brought it for us. Once again, the Blade Singers are absolutely cleaning house, 37k and 32k, and they're certainly feeling like they've earned their place in this particular army among the beasts. And frankly, the Loex Jesters troops, whatever, of Shadow Dancers and War Dancers, etc., are, I guess, so hobo-esque that they may as well be beasts anyway. So, there we are. And ooh, 31k on the Eagles, once again doing work, and we've finally started to get their buffs as well. Of course, Alka is going to keep some of them. I don't know how many as yet, though it'll depend on how much room we have in this particular army after all is said and done. It's not a crazy amount of space, admittedly. The Dryads are probably going to go to Drika from here, especially this Malevolent one. We might keep the 2 Malevolent trees. I'm kind of liking them in this. But anyway, we are going to... You know what, keep the Lichman Pendant for now, probably take it away from you later, but tempting to raise, but now this is an adjacent territory, so we'll keep it. Hey, another Forest Spirit. Lovely. And there's that Lichbone Pendant. Sylvan Colossus, eh? I'm still thinking about, well, since Aka is a community canon lord, what we can add to his lore from this particular campaign. Sylvan Colossus, it makes me think that he is a particularly giant tree man, and since he's a wanderer, well, from the Drika campaign, he has to have beasts with him because they follow him around. And you know what? Maybe he's sort of like he's like Johnny Appleseed, and he sort of wanders the land as a roaming forest, a very, very giant, massive tree man that a few other treekin and dryads sort of follow him around in a sort of moving forest, and so do the beasts that live in his branches and among his roots and stuff like that. And the way that he's like Johnny Appleseed is he essentially seeds forests among or wherever he wanders periodically, and that's how new magical forests pop up. There we go. Hey, maybe that's how magical forests come about in the first place. A tree man wanders or goes through the world routes and ends up at a new one. Anyway, Anyway, as you guys know, I get a kick out of making our own community lore. So yeah, feel free to add on. This distracted me, and I don't know where I was anymore. There's Altathios, Trellan, Akka, Stresslaeth. I think we moved all of you all. Did we not? Or at the very least, I'm sure enough that we did. So we're going to double check Diplo, assuming that there's nothing. We'll go next turn. Oh, look at that. Lots of trade agreements available. Ooh. Cultus Sotek and Heshwatla. We don't have defensive alliance with Heshwatla, though we would like to do so, but trading them a territory from the Cult of Pleasure will probably do that for us, so we don't necessarily have to do the trade agreement with them. I like this agreement. Hello. Rapturous excess. Somebody we're not at war with us. Defenders. Hello. How much would you give us for this? Defensive alliance. Yes, please. I'm glad I looked over here. That's an actual faction that we haven't yet declared war on. Go for it. Lovely, and this gives us a vision of them as well, and we'll build an outpost as soon as I remember to do so, because I'm gonna forget. We don't have a defensive alliance with Talakwa, so it might behoove us to... actually, how much would they do this for? 10k, 11k. It's not horrible, but it's also not great. You know what, if we do the trade agreement with them, pay them the 8.6k, it'll pay for itself, and probably make the defensive alliance a little bit more likely shortly, so let's do this. Alright, and probably no other trade agreement will be available because, well, Karakadrin will still go. Alright, fine, Karakadrin it is.
To my throne.
Why not? We'll trade with some dwarfs, I guess. I don't know if Karakazul is going to survive, so I think we're just not going to bother with them at the current time. But anyway, happy, or at least reasonably happy with all of that. Who's up next? Oh, nobody's up next. We gotta end the turn next, so skip. And because I remembered, we're gonna build an outpost here. Temple Avenue of Gold, that's their capital, is it not? No, Sotek's Trail is currently their capital. They lost, I forget where they start. I think they start in Teotihuacan, don't they? I guess they don't. No, I lied. They start in the Golden Tower. And they've lost it, but they're about to reclaim it. But nonetheless, go for the Temple Avenue of Gold. It is a reasonably well-defended settlement. Although, you know what? Teotihuacan might even be better defended, because it's an older settlement, most likely, than Temple Avenue, and it isn't bordering Kairos, so Teotihuacan, construct. Alright, now we can end the turn. And we still had a decent amount of money remaining. Maybe I should have checked at least some of the some of the potential recruitment, but I guess we'll see. Anyway, let's see if those ogres are able to reach Durthu and get into a nice fight. I'm very much enjoying the endgame of this particular campaign as well. I mean, I'm calling it endgame, but let's face it, it's, well, it's just mid-game. In fact, it's not even late mid-game yet, because we're on turn 50, whatever. And an SFO that's, the late game is a little bit later than in vanilla. But anyway, no peace with you, High Queen Khalida, alas, as we are going to be friendly with the lizards and they're fighting you. And by the looks of it, they've retaken their golden tower, which means their capital just shifted. LAKOR will in fact attack Orion while Orion's in march stance. I'm glad that this little idiot fell for this. Let's see if we can't steal that trickster's helm of his, and let's see how well he stands up to a Spear of Ruinous. Since he's floating in the air, it'll be a little bit less likely that Orion throws it into the hillside instead. Go. Alrighty, here we go, ever onward indeed, and the enemy dares to attempt to strike at us. Let's see what they can do with it. There is a hell cannon on the enemy's side. We do have to be careful with it, though it does look like its first shot does kind of fail. I imagine it was targeting one of the Hawk Riders, and does look like it's slightly, very slightly clipped the Skripin unit. And by the looks of the hell cannon, we'll continue to attempt to fire on the Hawk Riders, and thus we're going to go past it and try to fire at it from the back as well. Orion going to rush forward in order to try to cast a few of his own spells, maybe even get a Spear of Ruinous or a Hounds of Ruinous off. The Hounds will hit the enemy demonettes and probably do plenty of damage to them, as they are fragile and vulnerable to magical damage of this nature. Alright, it does look like LAKOR is not quite wanting to move towards us as yet, perhaps not entirely sure what to do, as all of our Wild Riders are still hidden. He can't really go after the Hawk Rider Air Force, so he can't send the melee units at them, and all he can see here is Orion and the 4 units of Sisters of the Thorn plus the Way Watcher on the ground. Most of our strength is either unreachable or hidden. So I think the AI just doesn't know how to react. Orion will be facing off against those Chaos Warriors who look absolutely minuscule by comparison, perhaps hoping that those halberds of theirs can help them out, but alas, they will shatter fairly quickly and then be completely overrun by the piles of Wild Riders. Wild Riders will ride together with the Sisters of the Thorn and smash into and through the next line of Chaos Warriors, again with halberds. And by the looks of it, the damage is pretty severe, as the charge has pretty much obliterated this unit as well. You got to love the insane charge of the wild... Oh my god, Orion. Oh, big boy. Oh, my... Okay, damn. That is absolutely brutal. Frickin' leaps forward and it just explodes one guy and then just crushes another one. Once again, he's a big boy. And it looks like we do have another Hounds available to us. If the Demonettes want to charge and blob up, we're certainly going to take advantage of it and destroy them. And some nice shots of Orion doing his thing today, which is a great thing to see. Battle is certainly going in our favor now, at about, let's say, 70% in our favor. We are going to back off the Sisters of the Thorn in order to try to hit the various spawn that are attempting to go after Orion. We did charge in on this flank, however, one unfortunate aspect is the Wild Hunters of Ruinous. Our Regiment of Renown did get slightly trapped and slowed down by a combination of maim, poison, and they had Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma from LAKOR as well. So while these guys are trapped, a fair number of them will probably go down. At least, though, they will go down with the trees among them. And I'd say about at least a little bit more than half of the unit has escaped this, regardless of the fact that some of them got trapped. Not a huge deal, but the damaged Wild Riders will back off. Let's see. Yeah, they're 20 out of 32. Might be a couple more still trapped out there as well. Anyway, the damaged Wild Riders will back off, while the not-so-damaged ones, the other 4, will continue. And they're very much still in the fight, and it looks like Cold Hellbrass is trying to hold the line together with the Chaos Spawn, though the Chaos Spawn are now gone, and Cold, I'm sure, will get mobbed and destroyed rather quickly. And... Getting knocked down and thrown around by the Cav, who quickly book it on out of there and will allow a oh my lord. oh no, a little bit of friendly fire brings a few more of them down. Gotta be careful about that. But yeah, these things are just so damn fast. You gotta love the Wild Riders. And they're gonna send some demonettes flying. Looks like LAKOR has been rather annoyed at the various units of Hawk Riders who have destroyed the Hell Cannon, heavily damaged the Chaos Feral Manticore, and are now trying to shoot up those aspiring champions. If LAKOR wants to move towards them, they can simply continue to back off and fire away at him as well. And the same thing goes for our Glade Guard here. Alright, well, good luck to LAKOR, and while he's busy with them, our Sisters of the Thorn and our Wild Riders continue to cause absolute havoc on the battlefield. And poor A-Cold Hellbrass, he just cannot hold his feet. And damn, very nice charge through all those poor bloodletters. Hard to swing those big old two-handers if you've been sent flying by a big old buck. just look at the big charge from every direction and flying around. It's glorious. It's absolutely glorious. Anyway, up here we've summoned a unit of eagles. This Manticore was starting to get annoying, and these summoned eagles should be able to bring it down without too much trouble, and in fact will do so right now. Right now. Oh, very nice. It looks like the Waystalker decided to steal that kill. And it looks like LAKOR has landed, but that was a absolutely foolish move, as soon as he lands, he's such a big target, has such a big hitbox, that the Wild Riders simply surrounded him and destroyed him in seconds. Much faster than the Hawk Riders attacking him, but the Hawk Riders could have also landed and mobbed him as well, but, well, while we still have arrows, there wasn't really any need to do so. Looks like the last of the enemy units on field with A-Cold Hellbrass down and LAKOR banished once more is a unit of Plague Bearers, who of course were the slowest unit on the battlefield and thus were kept out of the fight for most of the battle. Certainly they weren't going to catch the Wild Riders with their, whatever their max speed is. 184 right now. Very, very nice. And what, is there something still alive somewhere? Maybe there is. Oh, I think it's one of the crewmen of the Hell Cannon running around somewhere. You guys really gonna... Yeah, okay, there we go. A very nice fight, and I think we did pretty darn well, all things considered, due to ours at the full speed stance. Another pigeon plucker pendant. Not what I wanted to steal from LAKOR, but, well, this pigeon's been plucked, so that is at least amusing. Level 30 for Orion, plus LAKOR's Bell of the Ball defeat trait, which is quite nice, and his army destroyed, despite the fact that, well, it attacked us at a pretty opportune moment with us in March stance. Just in case Dastan Coldeye also tries to attack us, I doubt that he will, but just in case he does, we're going to heal rather than release captives, though the 4.1k would have been real nice. Alright, and let's see what the Dastan decides to do so as well. Mag Roast Chua will attempt peace, but that is not going to happen, and will attack Akka the Wanderer? What are you doing? Okay, you're dead, goodbye. What the heck is that? I have no idea. Take the money this time because we're healing in our own territory. Oh, maybe that was his last territory. No, why would we peace out with you? Cazador Dragonslayer will want a non-aggression pact. I'm gonna say no for now. I do it, but we don't know how Imric feels about this, so I'd rather maintain friendly relations with him. Khalid Al-Muntazir, no. Ghoul, Sires of Morcaine, no, everybody wants peace. And, okay, stop it. Alrighty, now scaling, no peace for you, only war, and looks like Dastan Coldeye did wuss out. Recruitment cost reduction for Fendal, there's Bell of the Ball, Winds of Magic, Weapon Strength, Casualty Replenishment Rate yet again. Always a nice thing to have. A caravan has arrived. Ally begins outpost construction. Drakenhof Conclave has been destroyed, and I see Morgar still hanging around Brion. Is he stuck? I think he sacked Brion and then was waiting for it again.
Your request is reasonable. The waker of trees.
A thought occurs. Datan, go right here.
Wise indeed.
Ara, go right here. Ugh, I would have preferred you recruiting. Oh, well, actually, you can't recruit right now anyway. And we still got 2 more turns while the hunt is slumbering, so we'll pop you here, and we'll see if we can't ambush the beastmen. Doesn't seem crazy likely, and we do have to be wary because the beastman ambush stance might screw us over. Frankly, it's probably not needed, but the Bait Army is generally fairly useful to, well, use. Dragonhorn Conclave destroyed. That's another war that's not there anymore. Ally mission successful. Kurun, Eate, and Athel Loren Ivress. Wait. I thought our mission from them was to kill off this guy, Smashgutter. Ooh. More Morn Fangs, more Crushers, another Stonehorn, Nobbler Scrap Launcher, no Iron Blaster, but nonetheless. And Man-Eaters with Ogre Pistols, and oh damn. Even more Man-Eaters with Ogre Pistols. Well, Durthu's gonna have some fun. I think they decided to go around Durthu rather than directly to the Haunted Forest, but anyway. Enemy killed in battle. Pigeon Plucker Pendant, Banner of Swiftness, Shield of Talos, Unicorn for Tavaril, if only I remembered who Tavaril was. Ally loses Outpost. As the alliance has been broken, we just got an alliance with you. Allied Outpost lost Teotihuacan. What the heck? Okay, that's... Is it actually Tzeentchins doing this? It's really starting to get annoying. If it is Tzeentchins, then... Well, that whole thing that the devs did with... sort of, well, nerfing-ish the Tzeentchin's ability to annoy, it wasn't enough, because it's still a really irritating aspect of the game, especially, once again, it seems like they'll do anything to not let you use the coolest system that they put into this game, which is the Outpost system, but anyway. Not a big deal. Minor annoyance at the end of the day, but still. You can polish a dung heap, capture Hrothgar Spire. Yeah, sure. Now, what do we have? Orion. Also, level 30 is... Oh, it's only 1 skill point. Nonetheless, get Wings of the Forest, trying to get into the red line for the now high-level units. We could kill off Dastan Cold Eye, but frankly, it's another war that we may want to keep around just for the sake of keeping it. We could eventually catch up to Throat the Unclean, which is a nice defeat trait as well. But it's also nothing crazy. You know what, how about this? I was gonna go for this Remnants of Battle, but I think we'll go right beside Throat the Unclean, and... Stance? Go right beside Throat the Unclean, right here. And if he's too far to catch for his defeat trait, if he moves too far away, we'll just get the Isle of Wights. Might as well destroy LAKOR, or at least move closer to destroying LAKOR so that we don't have to deal with him there. And where are you going? Perhaps to Elysia, but I was intending to trade Elysia away anyway. Oh, military alliance. Nice. And I guess we can't do Elysia, but you will give us money for this, so we will do this immediately. Might as well take a look at the rest of the Diplo while we're at it as well. Still Khymerica Azul. I'm salty about the last defenders, but what are you gonna do? And I had remembered to build an outpost too, game. Smashgutter. Huh, you don't have the option of Smashgutter. It's disappointing. Go for Dodd then. Smashgutter. Attain Smashgutter. Galta Sotek. Well, wouldn't you know it, Smashgutter. Oh, actually, Dodd is worth more. For you, anyway. So we'll go for Dodd. Sometimes you gotta go for Dodd. Anyway, do we still have time to... Oh. I don't... I probably have time to fight one fight. I guess the question is which one. Durthu's tempting. Akka the Wanderer's fought twice. This has kind of been his episode, but I'd wager that the defenders at Hrothgar Spire are probably not worthy of his attentions. At the same time, we do want to destroy Cleric Spire so that these guys aren't able to get an army back up and running.
Your orders are accepted.
Oh, right. Dark Elves have insane defenses, so we can't just have a basic army take that over. It was this turn that we tried the ambush, so we can't do the Morgar fight. Loren will probably move down to Granty Mingle, and then just jump over to destroy the ogres at Argalis. Dave could go after Morglum Backstab. Ooh, hello. We got a lot of trolls. Huh. They'll probably run, won't they? This might be a particularly interesting fight because... I mean, it's a bunch of trolls against Wildwood Rangers, and they got Goblin Rockclobbers. This might be the fight that I want. Let's try this. Let's see if they stay there and actually fight. We could let them destroy Karakazul, or we could just destroy Karakazul ourselves, and ooh, they will indeed fight. Pyrrhic victory, high casualties. Yeah, this is the one we'll do. Go.
To battle!
Alrighty, to battle indeed. Let's see how we do here. I think this is going to be a pretty darn interesting fight. There's a lot of units that are very much a threat to us. The 3 units of Goblin Rock Lobbers, the fairly decent pile of range that the enemy has here, including all the units of, well, additional units that get summoned. To the Orky abilities, and of course all those trolls. But the first order of the day will be to take care of the enemy Orc Warboss. If you're wondering why nobody is firing back at us, it's because they can't see us. All the Wildwood Rangers are in stock, and down goes the enemy Warboss, crushing at least a few of the units below him. Anyway, our Wildwood Rangers are in stock and hidden all the way back here, where they cannot be targeted by the enemy artillery, and our Way Watchers have snipe, so they were hitting the Warboss without him being aware of, or without being visible, rather. And there we go, we're going to move all of our units of Glade Captains, as well as our Glade Lord, into the fray, just to try to silence those Goblin Rock Lobbers. Certainly don't want them firing away at us while we move into melee. But move into melee we must, and here come the Wildwood Wardens, led by the Ranger, or the Wardens of Sithral. Wildwood Rangers as well, moving very quickly, and countercharging those enemy trolls. Let's see how well they do against them in melee. Now, the Wildwood Wardens are, I believe, anti-infant. No, they still have the bonus versus large. Oh, alright, so we're good. I was wondering whether they were, they lacked the bonus versus large that the Wildwood Rangers had. Ooh, by the looks of it, they obliterated the unit of Snotling Pump Wagons and Stone Trolls rather quickly, though they did take a little bit of damage on the charge. Time to move the rest of our units in. We're going to continue sniping the enemy Trolls and the enemy range units with our Way Watchers, and by the looks of it, the last of the Rock Lobbers has been silenced by our Lord and Heroes. Alright, continue taking on those Gobos and those Trolls. Let's see how you do here. Alright, Wildwood Wardens now joined by the Wildwood Rangers. Glaives will work together nicely with whatever the heck those sword things are that the Wardens have. Alright, and they're a little bit trapped trying to get to well, more valuable units, but that's alright. They're not really going to be threatened by the unit of Forest Goblins, and in fact the Forest Goblins will book it on out of there. Bounce power remains very much in our favor now, about 70%. The low leadership of the Trolls is also causing them to suffer. Sure, they can get their charge in, though they do get sort of screwed over by the smoke bomb activations, slowing them down and weakening their charge. And of course the Forest Spirits make their leadership very low so that they can't be in battle particularly long. It looks like the enemies that remain are in this sort of boggy terrain on the map. I've always loved fighting in a sort of bog area, though. It always makes for some nice cinematic battles, I think. Gross, but nice and cinematic. Slaneshi giggle. Anyway, looks like the enemy army is in very bad shape now. Bounce power shifts to about 85, maybe even 90% in our favor. A couple of troll units fighting, but by the looks of it, not for much longer. The low leadership will tell between the forest goblins, or the goblins in general, and the trolls. There aren't enough high leadership units in the enemy army, and thus the enemy army will break and give the battle to us. Lovely. Very, very nice. I think we did pretty darn well here. The Wildwood Wardens, I think, or Rangers and Wardens, exceeded expectations and ran down the enemy before they could really do too much to them. Plus, they're definitely one of the cooler looking units, so, yeah. Alright, anyway, they got a little bit of chasing to do, as I'm pretty sure this army will survive, but we can do the rest of the chasing off screen. Alright, very nice. That was a pretty darn cool fight, and I am very happy with it. Lots of action, sort of running around the battlefield, a little bit of thought put into it as we had to avoid the enemy goblin rock lobbers and be wary of the charges of those trolls and pump wagons. Lovely. Lovely fight. Lots of damage on our Wildwood Rangers and Wardens, and by the looks of it, that 27k and 338 damage made a Wildwood Ranger unit beat the Wardens. Wow, good job to them. Pretty impressive. I guess we don't need to heal because we're hardly damaged here. I'd rather take the money. We've got plenty of trees to upgrade, after all. I don't know whether... another Crown of Command. Probably don't need that. In fact, just so that I don't forget, where are the Crowns of Command? Right here. Fuse into another Giant Blade. I was hoping for another Talisman of Preservation or an Armor of Destiny or a Trickster's Helm. Just something a little bit better. Anyway, Grizzguts. You're at war with Karakazul, and Karakazul's basically dead. Maybe we should just destroy them for good and transfer their territory to Emmerich. Might be able to get a military alliance out of them. Hopefully he won't betray us like everybody else. Oh, seriously though. But anyway, yeah, start moving up here, I guess. Move towards Grizzguts slightly. I mean, these guys don't hate us, but at the same time. Karazakrak probably won't be happy, but oh, right, these guys, well, actually Karazakrak likes them, but they don't like the other dwarfs, as I recall. Not super important, I suppose. Anyway, we're gonna go to Caracade Peaks and Valais Sorrow after, but we might as well stop on by. You're in Karakazul territory, so you might as well raid a little bit. Maybe I should have moved closer. Whatever, too late. Stay here, raid, kill, etc. However, for now, we're out of time, and I'm going to call the episode here. I'm really happy with the late game battles, or mid-game battles in this particular campaign, and well, there's plenty more great battles to come. So yeah, this campaign will only get better as it goes on, especially as we pop more and more rituals. So stay tuned for more. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially the threshold for the hour-long episode. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.